Hi, I'm Mrs. O'Connor, and this is my at-home classroom. So, today we are going to discuss The Alchemist, an allegory composed by Paulo Coelho and published in 1988. So, Paulo Coelho was quite the renegade man. He defied the expectations set forth for him by his parents. And he wanted to become an artist, he wanted to create, he wanted to express, and he was subsequently sent to an insane asylum. He left and traveled the world, and he spends a large portion of his life trying to figure out what this all means. And then, how do we best express this? Let us begin at the beginning. So this book opens with our protagonist, Santiago, a young shepherd boy in rural Spain. And our lovely third-person narration lets us inside Santiago's head and all of the characters and natural sources. He talks to the sun and the wind and the sand throughout the novel. But Santiago is remarkable and similar to Paulo Coelho in that he does not want the life that his parents want for him. He doesn't want to become a priest. He wants to become a shepherd, and he wants to become a shepherd because he can travel. And so we admire and we applaud characters like this that defy social convention to do what their heart tells them to do. But this book doesn't stop there. This book wants more from us. So yes, we applaud that Santiago did that he defied social norms, but even more is asked from him. So he ends up having these dreams of treasure, specifically at the foot of the Egyptian pyramids. And he comes across an ancient king, King Melchizedek. So the allusion of King Melchizedek comes from the Old Testament. And he is the king of peace, the king of righteousness. And so he's introduced to us as a good source, a source that we can trust. But Santiago still needs him to prove himself a little bit. He's not going to trust any old man that comes up to him and claims royalty. So the king ends up writing down Santiago's name, his family's name, and even the girl that he has a crush on in the marketplace that he hasn't really talked about to anybody. So he sits down and he listens to this man and what this king has to say. The king introduces the idea of one's personal legend. So not only is this really the moral teaching of this novel, this is also the theme that the universe conspires in the favor of those who follow their heart's pull. And so the king ends up encouraging him to go seek his treasure, to go chase his dreams. He says that's why we exist at all in the first place. That's why humanity exists, is to know what they really want and run with their whole heart and soul in that direction. But Santiago thinks to himself, I know quite a few people that don't follow their heart's pull and they still exist, and some of them are even happy. And King Melchizedek kind of laments that this is an unfortunate evolution of mankind, that we adhere to social convention over what we want the most, like those childhood dreams, like what you've always wanted. You're told no enough that you kind of just forget about it. And Santiago is like, actually, I feel that. And I think that as readers, we also truly do feel that. So, enter inner conflict. He has two options. He has his sheep. He has cultivated his shepherd practice. He has figured out even a few things, a few pieces of wisdom from his sheep. Like, he doesn't like the way that his sheep just blindly follow him, the way they don't think, the way they just focus on eating and pleasure instead of standing up for what they believe in and choosing their own path. I mean, they're sheep, but Coelho's obviously using this as social commentary for independent thought, critical thinking. And the other option is this treasure. sacrificing everything that he's worked for, his happiness, in this crazy idea of looking for something that may or may not actually exist. And what does he choose? Treasure. So he travels from Spain to Africa, and specifically Egypt. So he is given 2 pieces of advice for his journey from the king. The king says, I want you to keep a lookout for the omens. And I also want you to, while you're enjoying all the beauty, to not forget the oil in your spoon, which is a metaphor for not losing sight of your mission. So, young Santiago arrives in Africa and he goes to this tavern and he is immediately robbed of everything that he owns and begins to wonder, is the universe really conspiring in my favor / anyone's favor? Am I insane for doing this? I actually kind of want my sheep back. And he continues holding that thought in his heart as he ends up working for an entire year at a crystal shop just to make back the money that he lost from being robbed when he went from Spain to Africa. The omens begin right away at the bus stop. There's a young man there, and he is a young Englishman in the search of the secrets of alchemy. So, what is alchemy? Well, The Alchemist is the title of this novel, but alchemy itself is the ancient practice of turning common metals, lead, into precious metals, gold. And you can understand why that's immediately enticing. That is, a lot of money, security, magic. So he is immediately reassured. This guy's coincidentally going to the same place that he's going to, and they end up striking some decent conversation. So they pull up to the oasis, and the young learning alchemist, he's excited. The oasis is where he wants to go. The alchemist, the master alchemist that he's looking for, lives there, but Santiago gets there. And they're told, this desert, they're in the middle of the desert, is war-torn. There are warring tribes on the loose. It's not safe, but this oasis is a safe place. It's neutral territory. You're not supposed to have weapons here. So he's kind of, trying to figure out what his next move is, how he's going to get from there through the war-torn territories of the pyramid, but he is immediately distracted by a beautiful woman. He takes his eye off the oil in the spoon and looks at the beauty of creation, specifically this young woman named Fatima. And he says, what treasure! I think all of this was just meant to bring me here. For her, I'm good. But he's told, you know what? If you decide to just settle and stay here in about 4 years, I don't know why the number 4 years, you're going to wish that you actually went. And true love isn't actually true love if it keeps you back from if it holds you back from your dreams. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we come across Quello's flaw. He is absolutely sexist and anti-feminist in this section of this book because he has the female character with no personal legend and only there to support and wait for him as he accomplishes his dreams, because the women of the desert, they wait. And she'll be here when he gets back because her personal legend is him. and he mentors him in his personal legend in this idea of achieving what you're meant to come here and achieve. And they actually journey together onward towards the treasure through this war-torn area. And they go. And he learns, right? Santiago, the universe is conspiring in his favor here by sending him this kind of mentor and relationship. And he learns that you can find happiness in a grain of sand, that you can hold up a tiny speck of existence and marvel that it's even there at all, and how it came to be and how long, and the things that it's seen and felt. And then he also talks about, the world is actually only this threatening, scary place if you focus on the threatening and scary details, which are actually the minority of the details. The majority of details are the grandeur of the mountains and the vast expanse of the desert. And they have a really cool conversation about why dreams do die. Because like we've discussed and like we know, we're not all professional athletes, and we don't all have Olympic gold medals, and we're not all best-selling authors. So not all of our dreams get to come true. Why do some people throw in the towel? And here's what he says. It's almost this form of grace, like a heart can only suffer for so long. A heart can only hurt from a broken dream, from not being able to achieve a dream for so long. So almost as like a defense mechanism, almost in the name of survival, the heart begins to forget. It begins to forget what it even wanted, just so that you can move on and achieve some semblance of contentedness in this lifetime. And Santiago says, please, heart, never stop bothering me. And he doesn't want to become numb and settle. He wants to keep fighting for these big, beautiful things in this crazy short life. So, as we know, it is always darkest before the dawn. And we are faced with a few trials. So, you may be wondering, why is this book so popular, Mrs. O'Connor? What's so inspirational about it? And hopefully you're not. Hopefully you read it. Hopefully you felt it. Hopefully the wind came into your sail and propelled you into the direction of your wildest dreams, understanding that life is short, and why not chase the biggest things that have been planted in our hearts by seeds unbeknownst to us when we were tiny human beings? But here's why. Here's why most people view this text as something special, something important. Because they see the juxtaposition of someone like Santiago that chases his dreams and the baker, someone that stays because he or she has a safe position in society, he or she is respected, he or she can find a decent partner, and society won't wonder about that person, right? Paulo Coelho, our author, was in an insane asylum for his dreams. And so we have a man that has walked the talk, and we have this character that we see sacrificing everything wildly, and he ends up with riches, with gold, right? So this comes back to our extended metaphor of alchemy, the idea of turning something common into something extraordinary. And this is a metaphor for our lives, right? Do we want to live a life of lead, or do we want to invest the time and learning and sacrifice and understanding of a life of gold? And that is all I have for you today. I truly hope that you enjoyed the novel, and I can't wait to hear what you have to think about it.